in Rhode Island in a warehouse because of State Department delays. So my question for you is, are you doing everything you can to keep starving children from dying?
There was no State Department delays to that being deployed. There may have been other delays, but it wasn't State Department.
There were State Department delays. I'm going to do
They're
you a
authorized
favor.
to move. Well, you ask questions you don't let anybody answer. I'm telling you, they're allowed to move.
And I have a question for you, and you're compelled to answer.
In a hall of power where tempers flare, a senator lifts a silver box of care. Inside, a miracle paste, humble yet divine, that could save a starving child in time. 8,000 children, he cries with fire, die each day. Where is your desire? 185,000 boxes stand still, waiting in Rhode Island against their will. But Secretary Rubio, calm yet firm, denies the fault, lets the word squirm. No delay from us, he swears once more. We feed the world, none give more. The senator leans, eyes fierce, unbent. For every promise, where's the intent? Your talk is tall, but children we lose. Their lives hang waiting on what you choose. And so the chamber hums with blame. Duty and power play the same game. While in the silence, beyond the fight, a hungry child...
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Rubio, do you know what this is?
I'm sorry, my LASIX is not as good as it
That's
used
all
to
right,
be.
I'll explain. This is a ready-to-use therapeutic food, also known as a RUF. It's produced in the United States by Adesia Nutrition in Rhode Island and Manna Nutrition in Georgia from American-grown farm products. A single box that I have right here of this miracle product can save a child from dying of severe acute malnutrition in only 6 to 10 weeks. Now, since January, you have promised over and over again that foreign aid freezes will not include life-saving assistance. RUF save the lives of children who are starving around the world. Do you agree that this product is life-saving aid?
It can be, yes.
Well, Secretary Rubio, the World Food Program estimates that 8,000 children die from hunger every day. Until last Friday, over 123,000 RUF boxes were purchased for Sudan, but were sitting in Rhode Island in a warehouse because of State Department delays. So my question for you is, are you doing everything you can to keep starving children from
There was
dying?
no State Department delays to that being deployed. There may have been other delays, but it wasn't State Department.
There were State Department delays. And it is clear that you have not done everything you can do to keep these kids from starving, because there are another 185,000 boxes of RUFs that the U.S. government and taxpayers have already paid for sitting in that same warehouse, all because the State Department doesn't have a plan, doesn't have its stuff together to get this rolling. So I can think of several countries where this aid is desperately needed, where these boxes of RUFs could save hundreds of thousands of children's lives. And these delays have real consequences, not just for starving children, but also jobs at home. I talked to the CEO of Adesia, who said they had to lay off 10% of their team due to the lack of payments from the U.S. government and a lack of clarity in March. So Secretary Rubio, will you commit to making decisions needed to move the remaining 185,000 boxes of RUFs to countries that need them by the end of this week?
Well, I'd be interested to learn what those impediments are.
Well, we've been talking about this for a while. I've sent you letters since January.
But there's no impediment on our end to distributing that.
There are impediments.
There are
I'm
others.
speaking
Part of
directly
it,
to the
Sudan
source.
is a war zone.
Secretary, I'm
that's an
reclaiming my
impediment.
time. This exists as a problem, and you have not acted.
That's false.
And maybe it's the case that you have too many jobs, because I know it's the case. It must be a lot to be the National Security Advisor, the National Archivist, or the head of USAID. That's a lot. I understand a lot of footballs. You're a football player. That's a lot of balls to catch. But the issue here is we have children who are dying. So will you commit to continuing to fund the production, transportation, and distribution of these domestically produced life-saving products to save starving children around the world?
They're approved now.
They are not moving. I just told you about 185,000 boxes in Rhode Island. I live there.
And you need to figure out why they're not moving, because it isn't an impediment from us.
Sir, you need to figure out. That's actually your job, sir.
No, it's no impediment from the State Department.
Well, Mr. Secretary, it seems like you will not make a commitment. Sir, it seems like you refuse to make a commitment.
We do more of that than anybody in the world, and we're going to continue to do it. We're going to continue to do food aid. We're going to do more food aid than any country on the planet times 10.
Well, that's a lot of talk, but I believe
those are numbers.
Seeing is believing, and there is not to be seen.
Those are numbers. Those are facts. We do more foreign aid.
Well, I've got numbers. I've got 185,000 boxes that aren't moving. So,
Yeah, but the State Department doesn't move
I'm going to do you a little
boxes.
favor.
We authorize them to
Mr.
move, and they're
Secretary, I'm
authorized-
reclaiming my time, sir. I'm going to do
They're
you a
authorized
favor.
to move. Well, you ask questions you don't let anybody answer. I'm telling you, they're allowed
And I
to
have a
move.
question for you, and you're compelled to answer. Why don't you take 10 seconds now to turn to your staff and say, let's get this fixed?
My staff knows that this has been fixed.
Oh, it
There's no
hasn't been
impediment on the
fixed.
State Department
Well, then
side.
you have not proven that to me. If the people who are affected, both here domestically and around the world, are not receiving this life-saving product.
They are receiving it.
Look, you staked your career in the Senate on supporting humanitarian aid, but now you won't make a commitment, or you're saying things have been done that
I already
haven't
made
been
the
done.
commitment.
You've made a commitment?
We do more food aid than anybody in the world, and we're doing more today than anybody in the world.
Secretary, I'm reclaiming my time. You are speaking in generalities. I'm talking about
I'm
specifics.
speaking in specifics. We
Okay,
do more
well,
than anybody in the world, and we're doing more than anybody in the world right
again,
now at this
that's
very moment.
That's hyperbole, sir, because this has been disrupted
does more?
because of your
Who does more?
freezing of aid.
Who does more food aid than the United States?
Sir, why are you asking me questions? My job is to ask you
Well,
questions.
you're the one that's claiming that we're not.
Secretary,
Tell
I'm
me who
reclaiming
does
my time.
more food aid
Secretary,
than
I'm
we do.
reclaiming my client. This is why I'm introducing the Rubio Act. So you focus on the one job that the Senate gave you to serve as our Secretary of State because you are clearly distracted. Okay? After the last few months, I understand why President Trump has such colorful nicknames for you. You're obedient. You're following the rules. You will do anything the president tells you to do without regard for the law, the Constitution, America's security, or standing as a leader in the world. Unlike you, I do not fear crossing Donald Trump. I refuse to give up on these children. I will be calling you once a week until you take action to fund RUTF and actually prove that you're doing this job to make sure you know how many children have died on your watch. Will you pick up my call?
No children are dying on
Will
our
you
watch.
pick up my call, sir?
Pick up your call?
When I call you to check in on your progress.
Our
Gentleman's
progress is
time has
already being
expired.
made. We already do
Representative
more than
Mills is
anybody in the world.
recognized.
No, but he's made some strong accusations here. We're doing more than anybody in the world. That food is being distributed now, and he knows that.
Very good.